All right. Yes. Very good morning to all of you, bacho. All of you, very good morning. Let's go ahead. Just quickly give me a thumbs up. You're there, not there, whatever it is. Hai na? Come on, come on, come on. You can see me, hear me properly, clearly. We'll go ahead, everybody. Okay. Yes, everyone. Sure. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Finally. Okay. So we'll almost finish today our basics of income tax this chapter, and we will start with your next chapter as well. Okay, residential status. All right, everyone. Right? Okay. So remember, guys, we have already covered this part of your taxation, then part of what should be covered for income tax, Act, Finance Act rules, your circulation notification, as well as then your judiciary statements, judiciary your this judgments, right? Everybody, correct? Everyone, okay? So please tell me now, where are your income tax rates given? Mainly, where are the income tax rates given, Bachu? Mainly, they are given in what? Finance Act. Remember or not? Everyone pay attention now. Okay? Mainly, they are given where, Bachu? The Finance Act. Hai na, Bachu? Right? The rates of taxes are given. Correct? Then we have already understood difference between or meaning of Bachu previous year assessment year. Even that is done. Correct, everybody? Okay? Yes? So check. That is what also I told you in the last lecture, no? That the finance bill is as of now immediately proposed, and then it will become what? It will become Finance Act. Correct? Eh? Now check. The Finance Act as well has certain schedules. Has certain what, bacho? Schedules. The first schedule gives income tax rates for different types of assessees. Are you aware how many assessees were there, bacho? What was the name called in your income tax definition? It was called as what? Persons, right? So for different types of assessee, that is persons, okay, the first schedule gives you rate for the current assessment year and advanced tax rates for the next assessment year. Okay, that is given in what? Schedule 1. Then the first schedule to the finance act contains it has what? Check now. 4 parts which specifies what? Part 1. First schedule of finance act specifies rates applicable for current assessment year. Hai na? Correct hai? Current assessment year. Then part 2 says what? TDS, tax is deductible at source for the current financial year. Isn't it? Correct, everybody? Yes? Then part 3 gives rate for calculating income tax for returning tax for income chargeable only under the head salaries and computation of advance tax. Correct? And lastly, part 4 gives you rules for computing what? Net agricultural income. Now we had seen in the initial stage itself, but we said that income is not to be taxed on agricultural income. However, we also seen that there is a separate chapter for taxing of agricultural income. So there are ways and means indirectly of taxing agricultural income as well. That is what we will learn later on. Okay, in one of the later on chapters we will see that. All right, till here? Yes. Let's go ahead, everybody. So there are certain parts to your finance bill as well. Keep that in mind. Part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4. Okay, everybody? Then assess you have already covered a little bit. Check now. Please pay attention. I had already told you the meaning of the word assess means to check or to verify. And assessee who will be checked. Assessing officer who will be checking. Assessment means checking verification. Assessment year means what? The year in which income will be checked, verified. Everyone okay? Everything okay till here? Please pay attention. Means a person by whom any tax or any sum of money is payable under this act. It includes, now please pay attention, it includes what? I had actually already given this you for homework to read the entire chapter, okay? Every person in respect of whom any proceedings under this act, that means some legal proceedings is going on against this assessee, which has been taken for assessment of, okay? He will be considered as assessee, okay? Of his income or income of any other person in respect of which he is assessable, or loss sustained by him or by such other person, or amount of refund due to him or to such other persons. See my students, there is also something known as legal representatives, or you can say representative assessee. If a person is incapacitated, unsound mind, minor, or for any other reasons, he himself cannot be, attend the proceedings. In that case, someone else on his behalf can attend the proceedings, or we can say liable for the earlier assessees or the original assessees. We can say taxation. In that case, this person will also be considered as assessee. Okay. Yes, Celia. So if at all any proceedings are being taken care of, okay, any proceedings is going on, okay, In that case, that person will be considered as assessee, either for himself or he is being assessed on behalf of someone else. Even he is considered as assessee for the definition. Then, every person who is deemed to be an assessee under any provision of this act. Now, this obviously there are 298 sections of income tax. So there will be many sections where a person will be deemed as an assessee. Okay. So in that case, wherever a person has not done certain compliances, please pay attention. A person has not done certain compliances, he is supposed to do something. In that case, if he has not done that, he is considered as deemed assessee. Even he will be part of the definition of assessee, right? And third, बच्चों check करो. Every person who is deemed to be an assessee in default. In default means what, बच्चों? Default means he has not done certain compliance. Okay, he was required to do it, but he has defaulted in doing so. Okay, let us say if at all some tax was payable by him, he was sent and demand notice. But if at all he still does not reply, or if he has not paid the taxes, in that case, he will be considered as what, बच्चों? Assessee in default. Okay, so deemed assessee, then assessee, that means whose assessment is going on, and assessee in default. These all three are considered as assessees. You can see in the part of definition. Okay, check now. So what do you actually example of assessee in default? Any assessee who fails to pay or comply with the duties imposed upon him under the act. See, but it can be a deductor also. Okay, it can be a deductor also, or a person is required to pay advance tax, or a person is required to reply to the demand notice or pay the tax as per demand notice. But if he still does not do so, he is considered as assessee in default. Okay, so failure to pay tax on receipt of demand notice. Who sent love letter, bachcho? The income tax department sent love letter to the assessee. Pay taxes. It is due. You are liable to pay taxes, and if he still does not pay, he is considered as assessee in default. Then failure to pay advance tax. Again, we have you can say one of the last chapters we have to do compute over the advance tax. How to compute advance tax? How to pay advance taxes? Okay. Then failure to deduct tax at source. Are you aware of this concept, bachcho? Failure to deduct tax at source. Tell me, bachcho. Have you heard of this? Tax deducted at source. Tell me quickly. TDS. Tax deducted at source. Okay, bachcho. Everyone okay till here? Do you want to understand about this little bit? Tax deducted at source. Pay attention. What happens? You might have heard about it. You might have heard of Form 16, 16A, 16B, this, that form, TCS, TDS, all of that. Okay, we are going to understand that. Okay, till here, everyone okay, fine? Yes? Now, please pay attention. It is also known as withholding taxes. Or withheld. Okay, something is withheld. That means you can say curtailed, or you can say it is still in control. Okay, still with you. That is withheld. Okay, withholding taxes. Okay, so I think WTHH. I think no, something like that. Whatever is the spelling, withholding taxes. Okay, pay attention. Please pay attention. Let us say, there is a company, Bajaj. Okay, example. I'm just giving you an example. Bajaj Automotive, right? Limited, whatever. Fine. And it has entered into some kind of legal dispute. Okay, legal dispute with its union, whatever. Okay, legal dispute. Okay, fine till here. Now, to solve this legal dispute and to go the matter will go into court and all of that. Okay, so the company will obviously hire a lawyer. Let us say a lawyer. Okay, till here, bachcho, lawyer or legal team or whatever. Fine till here, everybody. So now in this case, obviously there are two parties being involved. Fine. Now, lawyer, pay attention now. Lawyer will give what, bachcho, to the Bajaj company in this case? Services. You know? His legal services, whatever it is. Correct? Oh, simple till here. And obviously, Bajaj Automotive will give what to the lawyer, bachcho? The fees, legal fees. Fine? Or professional fees, whatever you want to call it. Fine till here. Now, again, for the sake of example, I'm just saying for the sake of example, let us say the lawyer has charged, okay, rupees 10 lakhs. It is a big company, you know. So obviously we're talking a big case. Okay, everybody till here. Let us say the bachcho lawyer has charged rupees 10 lakhs. Yes, everybody, simple till here. Yeah. Now please keep one thing in mind always. Okay, always. You know, somebody's income is somebody's expenditure. Somebody's income is somebody's expenditure, or somebody's expenditure is somebody's income. It is whose income, bachcho, in this example? Whose income is it in this just simple small transaction? It is income of the lawyer. है ना, it is income of the lawyer. Simple deal everybody. And whose expenditure is this? Obviously the Bajaj company's expenditure it is, है ना. They will book the expenditure in its P&L, है ना, under professional fees, whatever that heading. Yes, tell you everyone. Okay, everyone is understand till here? Yeah. All right. Now I have just mentioned only one amount over here, rupees 10 lakhs. Now you tell me, bachcho, who is supposed to pay tax on this? Whose income is this, bachcho? It is the lawyer's income of rupees 10 lakhs. Hi Anna, isn't it everybody? Okay, till here. It is lawyer's income. So who is supposed to pay tax on the same? Obviously lawyer. Obviously lawyer. Hi Anna. So let us say in this example, if we consider lawyer as our assessee, we consider what, bachcho? Lawyer as our assessee. Will you be able to at least estimate normally? Let us say if rupees 10 lakhs is his net profit. Okay, example I'm saying. If rupees 10 lakhs is the net profit of the lawyer, okay, will we be able to calculate his taxable tax liability? You know? If let us say his taxable income or net profit or whatever is rupees 10 lakhs, let us say taxable income is rupees 10 lakhs. Our tax liability will be how much, bachcho? 1,12,500. All of you agree? Tell me this. Tell me everybody. Tax liability. We have done in the basics, no? Rupees how much? 1,12,500. Yes, everybody? है ना? 12,500 in the earlier slab and then 1 lakh. So it will be 1,12,500. Simple till here. That means now you tell me whether lawyer is required to pay that much of tax to the government. Yes, his income tax is 1,12,500. Yes, till here. But the government, or you can say income tax department, doesn't trust fully all the assessees. It doesn't trust fully all the assessees. They say there is no guarantee that this person may or may not pay 1,12,500. Okay, they don't trust that much. That is one thing. That is point number one. I'm just giving you a very small example. Okay, so they say that, okay, whose income is this? Lawyers. He's earning the income, but somebody is giving him the income. No, let me write on over here, what? Government of India. Okay, I'm writing about what? Government of India. So government of India, or let us say income tax department, they say that, okay, the lawyer is supposed to pay rupees 1,12,500 to the government, but government doesn't trust the lawyer. So they say the lawyer is earning the income. So let us catch the person who is giving him this income. That means who, bachcho? Bajaj Automotive. So in the Income Tax Act, it says that whoever is giving the income, to some other person, now you also see over here, bachcho. What do you mean by the wordings now? It is income of lawyer, but what is the source of this income, bachcho? From where this income is moving? Bajaj Automotive, bachcho, is the source of this income. Understand now, this is very important. Bajaj Automotive is, bachcho, the source of this income. Hi Anna, understood earlier? Everybody got it? So it says that why to wait for this entire income to go in the hands of lawyer? Then lawyer will calculate, then he may or may not pay. Instead of that, we will let us catch the person who is giving this income. So let us tax it at the source. Understood or no, bachcho, till here? So it tells, very bad, please pay attention now. So it tells the person whose expenditure it is, or the person who is giving this income to someone else, government tells, or the income tax law says that you should, the person who is giving the source of income should deduct the tax at source, should pay the taxes. So bachcho, is Bajaj Automotive, they will pay tax out of their own pockets, or will they pay tax on behalf of the lawyer or of the lawyer? Will they pay tax to the government of the lawyer or from their own pockets? Tell me that. They will pay from the income of the lawyer. Who will pay, bachcho? Bajaj will pay from the income of the lawyer. Now pay attention. Lawyer had raised invoice of rupees 10 lakhs. Okay, Bajaj got the invoice of 10 lakhs. Now instead of paying check or wire transfer, bank transfer, whatever, to lawyer of rupees 10 lakhs, it says that less. Okay, your invoice of 10 lakhs. Okay, no problem. But we are required to deduct tax at source. We are required. Who told bachcho? The law said, Income Tax Act said, deduct tax at source. So less TDS. Let us set the example over here at the rate of 10%. Are you understanding here? So rupees 1 lakh will be what? Reduced. Okay. And the check amount or actual payment amount will be of rupees 9 lakhs to the lawyer. Hi Anna. Tell me, bachcho. Hi Anna. The check will be given of rupees 9 lakhs only. The lawyer will say, okay, why you did this? Where is my 1 lakh rupees? That bachcho 1 lakh rupees, is it income of Bajaj Automotive? Bachcho, tell me. This 1 lakh rupees, is it income of Bajaj Automotive? Have they earned this rupees 1 lakh? No. That 1 lakh obviously belongs to the lawyer. But what will the government, what will Bajaj do now of this rupees 1 lakh? Bachcho, tell me. What will Bajaj do, bachcho, of this rupees 1 lakh? It will deduct it. Now they have kept it with them for temporarily, and now it will pass on this rupees 1 lakh to the government on behalf of the lawyer. Keep that in mind. On behalf of the lawyer. Yes or no? Understood earlier? Understood everybody? Yes? What is the proof? The lawyer will say, okay, you deducted by 1 lakh rupees, fine, no problem. What is the proof? You have deducted but also paid to the government. Tell me this. What is the proof? He is a lawyer, but he will obviously ask for evidence. है ना? So, Bajaj Automotive will give the lawyer a TDS certificate. A TDS, what? Certificate. Understood, Leo? TDS certificate. That yes, we deducted rupees 1 lakh of yours and paid to the government. Yes or no? That at times you call it as, or you might have heard as Form 16 and 16A, etc. Okay? Form 16. If at all you want to write down, you can write down. Form 16 is for. Tell me, everybody, write down. Form 16 is. It is TDS certificate. It is, first of all, certificate. It is a TDS certificate. Okay? Issued by. Write down. Issued by. I hope you might be knowing this. Issued by who, bachcho? Deductor to deductee. Yes or no, bachcho? Is it clear till simple? Tell me, bachcho, in our example, Bajaj and lawyer, who was the deductor, bachcho? Tell me. Who is the deductor? Bajaj is the deductor. He deducted, no? He or the company deducted. And who is the deductee? Whose income got deducted? Lawyer. She is known as what, bachcho? Deductee. Clear, everybody? Deductor and deductee. Clear? Okay? Fine, everyone. So, Form 16 is, bachcho, TDS certificate issued by deductor to deductee on TDS done on salaries. On TDS done on what, bachcho? Salaries. Yes? Correct, everybody? And Form 16A is what? Again, same thing. TDS certificate issued by deductor to deductee. TDS certificate. Write down, everybody. TDS certificate issued by deductor to deductee. For what? On TDS done on other than salaries. Okay? Other than salaries. Okay? That means if at all you are paying any other income, any other thing other than salary, for that TDS will be done, and that TDS certificate will be in form number 16A. Understood, everybody? Got it? Yes? All of you whoever are live right now, chalo quickly give me a comment or thumbs up or whatever it is, hai na? Quickly. Yes? Done, everybody, till you. And one more thing, let me write down here. Form 26 AS. One more will write down here, okay? Now you tell me, bachcho, in our example from Bajaj to lawyer, hai na? Was the salary paid to lawyer or legal fees was paid to the lawyer? What was paid to the lawyer, bachcho? Legal fees. So which kind of TDS certificate will go to the lawyer? 16 or 16A? Tell me, bachcho. Which kind of TDS certificate will go to the lawyer? 16 or 16A? Tell me, all of you. Okay? Got it, everybody? It will be what, bachcho? Form number 16A, because it is not salary paid to the lawyer. No, it was the professional fees paid to the lawyer. Anybody knows what is the form 26 AS? Anybody? Write down. It is summary of all Okay, TDS, TCS, advance tax, SA tax, just write down the self assessment tax, refund. Okay, SA is your self assessment tax. Okay, okay, till here. Okay, everybody. It is summary of all TDS, TCS, advance tax, SA tax refund done for a year. Now you call it as a previous year or assessment, it doesn't matter. No? It is for a year. Understood, everybody? Tell me, are you understanding or no? It is a summary. It is, you can say, one single statement where you will see all the details of the assessees, whatever TDS, TCS, taxes he has paid for the year. Okay, even refund of taxes. Yes? Okay, till here, everybody done? Let's go ahead. Fine, no? Yeah. Now check. In our example, bachcho, please pay attention. Again, come back to the lawyer. His income was what, bachcho? 10 lakhs rupees. Net profit, or let us say taxable income. And on that, we calculated the tax 1,12,500. Yes or no? Yes? Now you tell me, bachcho, how much actual tax will he pay? How much actual tax will he pay to the government of India? Tell me this. Will he pay or not pay? Tell me this. What do you think? He is supposed to pay on his total income of 10 lakhs rupees 1,12,500 as his tax liability. How much will he actually pay, bachcho? He said to the government, yes, I am required to pay you 1,12,500, but out of that already 12,500, already out of that already 1 lakh is with you, with the government. है ना बच्चों? Therefore, tax payable will be what, bachcho? Only 12,500. Yes or no? Clear till here? Yes? I hope all of you got it, right? The concept of TDS. That is what I was telling you here also in this format which we were learning, no? Computation format. Did you understand? Where is it? Over here. Check. Total tax payable in our example was what, bachcho? 1,12,500, है ना? Less TDS or TCS credit, advance tax or relief or whatever. Okay, that was what in our example, bachcho, 1 lakh. And then whatever remains will be either positive, that is payable, or negative, that is refund. Yes, everybody? Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, chalo. We have already done exception to previous year also. Okay, chalo, let's go ahead now. So we have done, bachcho, what? Individual we have done, minor child, person of unsound mind also done, HUF also done, correct? Company done, firm also done, AOP, check. Association of persons, okay, check. When persons combine, person means it can be your what, bachcho? Artificial, or you can say individuals as well, okay? Artificial or natural persons as well. Please keep that in mind. Combine together, what? Whether individuals or HUFs, companies, firms, etc., or any kind of combination thereof, for promotion of joint enterprise, they are accessible as an, you can say, association. When they do not in law constitute a partnership, if they are not a firm as such, they will be considered as AOP because still they are doing business together. Yes or no? Okay. In order to constitute an association, person must join for a common purpose or action, and their object must be to produce income. Okay, that is important. Produce what, bachcho? Income. Clear? It is not enough that a person receive the income jointly. That is not really necessary, but they should come together for one single, you can say, purpose, that is to produce income. All right, and they are not partnership. Okay, they are not partnership. Clear till here? Examples are JVs, cooperative society. Okay, then this one example, let us say Mr. Yash, ABN company. Mr. Yash is individual, ABN company obviously is a firm, and X private limited is a company. They join together to carry a construction activity otherwise than as a partnership firm. If at all they do not create a partnership firm, then obviously they will be assessed as what, bachcho? AOP. Understood or no? Did they come together? Yes. But did they create any separate legal entity as such? No. But they are earning income together by doing some activities together. So they will be also taxed together as association of persons. In persons, please keep in mind, person can be artificial as well. But body of individuals and individuals only. Yes. It will consist only of individual. That means what? But natural persons. Yes or no? Okay. Again, common purpose. But whether or not to earn income. So here, only one thing is important. It can be only of individuals, and it may or may not be for earning of income. Got it, everybody? Like for example, please pay attention. Entities like what? Obviously, companies or firms cannot be members of BOI because individual means what? But to natural persons. Example what? Mutual trade association. There it is only of individuals. Okay, some group, some entrepreneurs group, some other group, members club, some particular network. That is a body of individuals. Yes, everybody done? Okay. So whatever I have highlighted only, okay, highlighted, that will be important. That's it. BOI, only individuals, whether or not to earn income. AOP, purpose is to produce income. Okay, whether individuals or artificial person as well. Clear? So production of income is important to become AOP. Local authority, bachcho. Cantonment board, your municipality, corporation, gram panchayat, they will be all considered as local authority. Please pay attention, important now. The term means municipal committee, okay, district board, body of port commissioners or other authority legally entitled to or interested by the government with control or management of a municipal or you can say local fund. Please pay attention. This is not an assessee. The government is collector of taxes. Government itself, the state is not an assessee. The state is not an local authority. Okay, done. And last but not least, bachcho, hamesha I always tell you, this is your residuary. This is what, bachcho? Residuary. All right. Hello, Varnika. Good morning. How are you? Means now, whatever type of person or assessee doesn't fall in any of the 6 categories, we will give you a last category known as AJP, Artificial Juridical Person. AJP. Okay. This category could cover every AJP, Artificial Juridical Person. Okay. Hi, Anna. Not falling under any other heads. I think I told you last time, just like that, we have all the heads of income. That is what we are going to learn. See, don't worry about it. Okay. Now, an idol means you can say, I'm good, Varnika. How are you? An idol means again you can say God, whatever, Lord, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Or deity, same thing. Deity means again your Lord, in the name of Lord. Would be accessible in the status of AJP. Even examples are what? Deities. Okay, Lord. You're taking some income in the name of Lord. Bar council. Which bar? Okay, lawyers bar. Okay, advocate, the group over there. Okay. We become member of the bar, bachcho, by giving the bar exams. Then you are interested or entitled to, you can say, represent in the court. Yes, tell you. So, bar council. Universities are examples of what, bachcho, this is important, of AJP, Artificial Juridical Person. Now, obviously, tell me, bachcho, depending on the type of assessee, your tax liability will change, no, bachcho? Depending on type of assessee, your tax liability or your taxable, you can say tax rates change, right? Then, what is an income? This we have not covered, so let me just quickly go through. 224. This is the most and the basic question of income tax. You are learning income tax. The first question is everybody is going to ask you, what is income? Obviously, so income has to be defined properly in the Income Tax Act itself. Yes? Pushkar, very good. Right? So gives an inclusive list. It is a very, 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 very big list. Okay? It is a never ending list. So just obviously they have to use the word what? Includes. Okay? The word income includes. Check the examples. Please pay attention. It is nicely defined over here in 224, section 2, subsection 24. Profits and gains, dividends, voluntary contributions received by a trust. You can see donation, charity is an income, but tell me this. There is a trust. Pay attention. There is a trust. And you, let us say as a person, you donated something to the trust. Donation, proper. Donation or charity. So even this is income for the trust, bacho. Yes. Any kind of inflow will be considered as income. It is taxable or not. Tax liability will be there or not on that. That is separate thing. But is it an income? Is it an inflow? Yes. What is to be done with that income, that we will see later on. Let us say if you're doing agricultural activity, only agricultural activity, you're earning from that agricultural activity, that is your income or no? Yes. It is taxable or not, that is a different question. Are you understanding or no? So here we are just right now only understanding what is income, all examples of income. Yes, everybody understood? Let's go ahead. The value of any perquisite or profit in lieu of salary. Okay, so salary, and you can say instead of salary, whatever benefit you are getting. All this we are going to learn it later on. Okay, any kind of capital gains, the profits and gains of any insurance business, any winnings even from lotteries, casinos, crossword puzzles. Okay, horse races, card games, casinos, that all happened. Some received under a Cayman insurance policy. Even all these are considered as incomes. Okay, the consideration received for issue of shares as exceeds the fair market value. Okay, more than FME, that will be an income. Then assistance, help you got in form of subsidy or grant or even cash incentive, and the list is quite big, which I have obviously not covered over here. Okay, understood, Leo? But it's just giving you all the different types of incomes it can be, and it will be tax. It will be whatever considered in the income tax law. Are you understanding or no? Bacho, tell me this. Clear, everybody? Okay. Yes or no? Then some things about income which you should know. Okay. Just types of income. Something which you are receiving on regular basis and something which you are not receiving on regular basis. So regular and casual. Okay, Delia? Yes? Yes or no? Then net receipt and gross receipt. Obviously, what is the difference between net and gross? Gross is the entire sum received. From that, whatever is the necessary expenditure, that will be reduced. From the gross, the expenditure will be reduced. What remains in your hand is net receipt. Okay, so we tax obviously the net receipts. So net receipts are arrived after deducting the expenditure. Simple. This is very simple, bacho. Incurred in connection with earning such receipts. In connection with earning such receipt. That means what, bacho? Are they saying that expenditure should be related to the income? Tell me this. Very important question now. Whether expenditure has to be related with the income. Only then it will be reduced from the income. Tell me this. Are you understanding or no? In connection with earning receipts. Hi, Anna. Earning such receipts. Let us say you are doing some business. Anna. What business you want? Let us say computer sales. Okay. You are selling laptops. Anna. You're doing what business? Computers and all. This is your sales. And here obviously you have expenditure. And this is your own business. Now, obviously, if at all you go on some personal tour, with family, personal tour, travel, and you book this expenditure in P&L, you show this as expenditure, this is business expenditure. Will it be allowed, bacho? Whether a personal tour has any connection with earning of, sales of computers as such? I'm just giving you a very normal example, okay? None at all. None at all. In that case, that expenditure will not be allowed as a deduction. Are you understanding, Delia bacho? Or is it too heavy for you? Tell me this. So basically, the law is saying that the expenditure should be such that it is related directly to the incomes. Only that expenditure will be allowed to be reduced from the income. Understood, Delia bacho? Yes? Tell me, are you understanding or no? Please quickly comment. So can I say this will be my gross receipts? And from gross receipts, I will reduce the expenditure, and obviously I'll arrive at my net receipts. Yes, everybody? NP. Fine. And we obviously tax what? Net receipts, or you can say net profit. Okay, everybody? Okay? Okay. Then due basis and receipt versus receipt basis. That means again same thing, accrual versus cash. Accrual versus cash. Exactly same. Hai? Income is taxable either on receipt or due basis. Okay, that depends again from the chapter to chapter, or you can say income to income. That depends. Okay, how it will be taxed. Do you understand meaning of this word receipt or due? है ना? है ना बच्चों? Correct it, Leo? हाँ या ना? See, let us say if a person, Mr. A. Please pay attention. If he is working on a job, okay? If he is working on a job, for let us say for 26 days in a month, है ना? 26 days in a month. हाँ या ना? Clear बच्चों? Let us say 4 Sundays will give him off. No, है ना? So day number 1 he worked, 2 he worked, 3 he worked, 4 he worked, 5 he worked, 6 he worked. he's tell me, is he earning or not salary for per day basis? That means whenever he's going to the job, is he earning or not? Yes, everybody, he's earning. The salary is due to him, right? At the end, let us say, of the month, you know, at the end of the month, whatever it is. Yes, but does it mean it is taxable immediately? No, he will get, let us say, the salary later on somewhere, you know. That means on day-to-day basis he is earning it but not receiving it. है कि नहीं? So obviously receipt may be later on. Receipt may be later on. Yes, are you understand here? Can it be also opposite, बच्चों? Can it be possible? It can be opposite also, that he received first and then he is earning it? Is it possible? Yes, that is very much also possible. How? When we take what, बच्चों? Advance salary. Advance salary means what? The employee has requested the employer that you give me my next month's salary right now itself. I am in need. That is also possible. Are you understanding? In that case, what happened, bacho? The receipt first came, the receipt came first, and then you are actually earning, or you can say due for it. Are you understanding, bacho? Got it, Leo? Yes? Fine. Let's go ahead. Then the revenue receipt versus capital. Very, the most important discussion always in income tax as well as accounting. Most of the cases. What is revenue and what is capital? Okay, please pay attention. We are talking of receipt. That is now not expenditure. We're talking of bacho income. Okay, revenue income and capital income. Revenue will be something your day-to-day regular basis, and capital will be like your very big amount, huge amount, but again on a you can say one-off basis, not that regular. Right, everybody? Yes? Yes or no? Now you tell me, bacho, let us say you as an individual, okay? Let us say Mr. A again. He is a salaried person. Salaried person means he is earning salary. Let us say in Infosys. Fine, tell you, IT professional, right? He has his home. Let us say in Pune city, okay? And then he is transferring to Chennai because of job, permanently kind of, okay? To Chennai. All right, Leo. Good morning, Dodo. So if he's transferring his home, not transferring, sorry, if he's getting transferred, his job is getting transferred from Pune to Chennai permanently, he's under that decision making that this home should be sold. Okay, he's selling this home. Right, tell you, everybody? Now you tell me, bacho, what is it an income or not for him if he sells his home? Right? How are you all? Yeah, I hope everyone has liked the video. Okay, tell me. Tell me, if he sells his home, is it income or not for him? Yes? It is income? Yes, it is income. Got it, everybody? Now, can you tell me, bacho, what kind of income is this? Is it his revenue income or capital income? What do you think? Come on, come on, come on. He will get lots of money, yeah? Lots and lots of money, let us say. But what kind of income it is? Revenue or capital? That is obviously, bacho, capital income. Are you understanding till you? Yes or no? But why are we saying it is a capital income? And why not revenue? Tell me this. Why not revenue? Anybody? Because the home or house or residential flat, whatever you want to call it, this for him, for Mr. A, is a capital asset. Okay, Leo? Fine or not? Understood, Leo? Okay? Understood, Leo? Everybody got it, Leo? Because it is a capital asset. In the same example, bacho, in the same example, let us say, okay, whatever. Let us have remove some parts, Chennai, etc., whatever. Okay? Yes, very good. Okay, pay attention. But if a home is sold, if a home or residential flat, whatever is sold, can it be a revenue receipt? Can it be a revenue income? Tell me this. Can it be a revenue income? Tell me this. Possible? That selling of home, it is a revenue income, bacho. Possible? Selling of home, residential flat, whatever, bungalow. Yes, it can be revenue income, provided the asset. This is home is also your, it is an asset, है ना? It is your trading asset, है ना बच्चों? It is a trading asset, है कि नहीं बच्चों? Or rather, not your capital asset. Or you can say this is your home or residential flat is what? Stock in trade. This is basically bachcho what? Stock. Are you understanding or no? No, not for an agent. Let us say for a builder or real estate builder. No, real estate, you can say owner, whatever company firm that is, that they are selling flats. For them, this is a regular day-to-day activity. For them, that flats are what, but to stock in trade, or you can say trading asset, and they are earning what kind of income? Are they earning now capital income? Bacho? No, they are earning now revenue income from business. Understood or no? Right? So same transaction can be, you can say, having different effect on different parties depending on their, you can say, intention. What are they selling it for, or are they in that business or not? Are you understanding, बच्चों? Clear hai? Okay. So person who is in the business of buying and selling, let us say, or construction of and selling of properties, for him that income will be business income. That is your revenue income, because he's saying, बच्चों, the trading assets, not capital assets. But for you, let us say if you are earning salary, okay, and then if you're selling a flat, okay, or whatever residential home, for you it is a capital receipt, because you are not in the business of buying and selling of flats. Understood? Clear, everybody? Done? Okay. Please check now. Important. Okay. Income normally means revenue income. That is the majority of the cases are your revenue income only. Okay. But check. Capital receipts are generally not included in the scope of total income. Okay. In normal situations, usually not. Okay. So what is revenue versus capital? And a receipt referable to a circulating capital, your regular activity. Okay. Buying, selling. Again, there is a, you can say, entire cycle of your capital. Okay. Inflow, outflow would be revenue receipt. That means you are generating that income because of inflow, outflow of capital. Inflow and outflow of capital. Okay. But capital receipt is what? A receipt on account of fixed capital would be a capital receipt. Yes. A circulating capital is one which is turned over and yields income or loss in the process. Right. But capital receipt was tangible and intangible assets which the owner keeps in his possession for making profits are in the nature of fixed capital. Yes, everybody. Can I say jewelry? Jewelry, shares, debentures also. Shares, debentures, you can say intangible right now. Hai na? All these are what? For making profits over a long period of time. Yes or no? Clear till bachcho? Yes or no? Now you tell me again, bachcho. Always we can consider these two examples. Always in share market, for share market. There is a trader and then there is a what, bachcho? Investor. Are you aware of this? Tell me quickly. Yes or no? What does the trader kind of income, which kind of income the trader will earn and which kind of income the investor will earn? But tell me, trader will earn what? Revenue or capital income by selling of shares or earning profit over there in share market? Tell me. Is there a lag? Tell me, which kind of income the trader will earn? Tell me, bachcho. Revenue or capital? Trader will earn bachcho revenue. And investor will earn bachcho what? Capital receipts or capital income. Yes or no? Or capital gain, whatever you want to call it. See, both of them, let us say, might be selling shares only. Okay, shares. But we are going to call it revenue for trader because he is in the business of buying and selling. Investor is not a regular buyer and seller. Investor just buys and sells quite later on. Yes or no? So can I be an investor as well as trader? Possible. Yes, I can have two separate portfolios. I can have what, two separate portfolios, one only for trading and one only for investing. So my trading profits will be revenue, taxable on obviously as a regular cases, and capital portfolio will be different. Okay. For that, there are different rates of taxes and rules. Okay. Done? Then profits arising from sale of trading assets. Underline this word, trading asset will be revenue in nature and taxable as obviously as business income. But profit arising from sale of capital asset will be considered as capital gains. The name itself are different. Yes or no? Got it? And this is the most important part. Revenue income is always taxable. Okay, bachcho, check. Revenue income is what, bachcho? Always taxable. Okay. Unless it is specifically or expressly exempted. Okay. For example, I gave you one of the cases. Agricultural activity, bachcho. What do you think? Agricultural activity is revenue or capital. Tell me this. Let us check a very nice example. Agricultural activity. That means agricultural income. You have a land, barabar hai, right everybody? And on that you are growing whatever agricultural produce, whatever this is, okay, whatever you want to assume this is, any kind of crop, etc. Okay, and by selling this crop later on, you are getting income. What kind of income it is, bachcho? It is revenue or capital? Tell me this, bachcho. We will say, what kind of drawing is this? Hai na? This is your agricultural produce. Tell me this. Agricultural income will be in that case what? It will be revenue or capital? By selling these crops, okay, by severing, cutting, whatever, and this crops, this will be bachcho revenue income. Correct hai? But tell me bachcho, can he sell the land as well? What if he sells the land itself? What if he sells the land itself? In that case, that will be a capital receipt. Are you understanding the difference? Yes? Okay, Dilio. Now, tell me, bachcho, we have seen in the earlier cases, the agricultural income is exempt. Hai na? The agricultural income is exempt. But which kind of agricultural income is exempt, bachcho? The revenue one is exempt. Okay? Okay, Dilio, bachcho? Clear hai? Fine, everybody? But capital receipt in this case by selling of land may be taxable. Okay, Delio? Does that mean the farmers do not pay tax at all? They pay tax as such whenever they sell their land. Okay? Because that nature itself is of different type. It is capital receipt. Understood or no? Yes? But if there is a farmer who is earning only income through revenue, receipts by selling of agricultural produce, that is exempted. That all we will see in later on, okay, in agricultural income chapter. Don't worry about it, okay? Fine? Okay, till here, bachcho? Done? Let's go ahead. Fine, let's go ahead. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to tell you here. But capital receipt is not specifically taxable unless it is specifically or expressly taxable. Oops, means what? Generally, capital receipt not taxable. But if the law says you have to tax it, only and only then we tax it. If the law says there is no provision, if there is no provision in law to tax a particular capital gain, in that case it becomes what, bachcho? Automatically exempt, or you can say not taxable. Are you understanding or no? Tell me this, all of you. I can see only 1 or 2 students comments only, okay? Rest of them can also quickly reply. Okay, this is already done. We've already seen, bachcho, a previous year can be less than 12 months also. Previous year can be, bachcho, less than 12 months as well. There is an exception, but assessment year is always usually entire year. Okay, charge of income also done, rates of tax also done. Fine. This is also done. Okay, yeah. This we had seen, bachcho, the types of, you can say, tax rates for different types of assessees. All right, till here we have seen that. Yes, everybody? Let's go ahead. Now check, please check. For non-resident individual, NRI, age-wise slab is not available. Yes or no? Age-wise slab is not available. He is still treated as, please pay attention, below 60 years of age. This is important now. Please pay attention. We will see some agricultural land, Pushkar. Agricultural land itself, which is out in the outside the limits, which are outside the limits. Okay. Then you have jewelry, which is used for personal consumption. There are certain examples which do not fall in the category of capital asset. It is not part of capital assets. We will see that in the chapter of capital gains. Okay. Even in earlier cases as well, 2-3 years before, if at all you were selling shares, okay, securities or mutual funds, which were held for more than 12 months, okay, or you can say more than 1 year, it was specifically exempted. If you're holding the shares for more than 12 months and then you sell it and you're earning profit or income, then it was capital gains, but it was exempted earlier. Now again they've changed the rules and now they made it taxable above rupees 1 lakh. Okay, so there are rules and conditions we have to check. Fine. Okay. Now check, please, point number 2, this is very important. Now please pay attention. What did we say here? When do you become senior citizen? 60, above 60 years of age. Okay, this is below 60 years and this is 60 or 60 years above. Correct? Completion of 60 years of age or above, and your completion of 80 years of age. Okay, above 80 years of age. Barabar? Please pay attention now. Age 60 or 80. I told you in the last one of the lectures also. Does it mean everybody's birthday is on 1st of April? The first year itself. Are you understanding or no? No, birth dates are spread 365, 366 days also at times, है ना? Yes or no? That means in a particular previous or in a particular financial year, different persons will become senior citizen or super senior citizen on different dates. Yes or no? Are you understanding my example? Let us say if I write down here PY, let us say I'm saying giving example. PY 2021, okay? From April obviously to March, okay? Now please pay attention. Let us say a person in the month of November 2020, it's his birthday, 60th birthday. He completed bachcho 60 years of age either over here. Yes or no? Are you understand till here? Does that mean the income earned from April to his birthday or one day before the birthday will be taxed at less than 60 rate? Yes or no? And the day on which he became 60 years of old, from that day, he will be taxed at senior citizen rate. What do you think, bacho? Correct or wrong logically? Huh? Are you understanding my example? Did you understand my example? In the middle of the year, if a person is completing 60 years of age or 80 years of age or whatever, है ना? Does that mean just before that we will tax him at what? Lower slab, earlier slab, and after that we will tax him at the next slab with whatever is applicable? Tell me this. That is correct or wrong? That will be wrong. Why, bacho? Because the tax rates are for the year itself. Are for the year itself. Are you understanding here? है ना? Clear or not? Okay. So we do not bifurcate the slabs in the year itself. Whatever is applicable is for the entire year. Even in this example, even if his birthday is on what, bacho? November. Still, pay attention. Since he completed, please pay attention now. Since he completed the 60 years of age in 2021, for entire 2021, he will be considered as what, bacho? Senior citizen. Understood or no? Clear? So whatever income he earns, even from the month of April, will be taxed at senior citizen slabs. Understood, everybody? Got it? Who are others who are online but not commenting over here? Come on, quickly comment so I can know who all are there. As well as later I'll be taking from Zoom. Okay, not Zoom, but Google Meet maybe. Okay, later on. No, he gets in the same year, Pushkar, the year in which he completes the senior citizenship, or you can say 60 years of age. Not from next year. He gets it from the same year in which he completes the 60 years of age. Over here, the tax department has been little bit, tax department, or you can say law is little bit nice, or you can say flexible over here. Okay, got it, everybody? So that benefit is given. Okay, so even if, pay attention, even if a person is completing 60 years of age or his birthday, let us say is on 1st March. Okay, I'm just giving you example. 1st of March, he is completing 60 years of age. 1st of March. Still, for the entire year, he is considered as senior citizen. That is a great thing. Yes or no? For year 2021. Understood, liya, bachcho? Done? Okay? Let's go ahead, everybody. Now check. What does that law say? Age 60 or 80 should be attained or completed, achieved or finished. No. 60 years of age. You are 1 year old. That means you completed 1 year. So you are 60 years old. That means you completed 60 years. During the PY, the year itself, to claim benefit from that year itself. And are you understanding or no? The year in which it is your 60th birthday or the year in which it is your 80th birthday, that is the same year in which you can claim senior citizenship, or you can say super senior citizen tax slabs. Understood or no? Tell me this quickly. Okay? Understood here? Therefore, person needs to complete 60 years of age at any time during the PY to count as a senior citizen, or 80 years to count as a super senior citizen. Clear, everybody? Complete 60 years of age. Okay, done. 60 complete, 61 running. We call it as no. When you say you are 1 year old, that means 1 year is completed. When you say 20 years old, that means 20 years is completed. Yes, everybody? Done? Now check. Circular number 20/2016. Very important. Income tax MCQs बच्चों are hell. Let me tell you that. Okay. Income tax बच्चों MCQs at times become very much hellish for you. Too much of. Okay. They may really ruin your life. Because based on very small concept from here and there, they can make it very tricky for you. Please pay attention. This is a very interesting and a nice concept. A person born on 1st April, he is a fool. है ना? We call him as a what बच्चों? April Fool. है ना? 1st April. Pay attention now. Please pay attention. When do we celebrate the birthday बच्चों? What time? है ना? 12 o'clock. Usually now practically speaking, है ना? That the clock hits midnight, है ना? Strikes at midnight. Even at that time we celebrate the birth. Even if actually his birth time may be something else during that day, but we start celebrating at the midnight itself. Yes or no? Clear hai? Everyone okay here? So person born on 1st April, please pay attention. This is a very interesting case now. A very interesting case. A person being born on 1st April, okay, we will call he completes that age at exactly 12 a.m. है ना? Or just one day before that or on that date. That means let us say there is a child. He is crying, है ना बच्चों? There is a child, okay? Very small child. Okay? And his birth day is 1st April. Correct hai? Let us give an example. Let us see his date of birth बच्चों is 2019. I'm just giving you a very small basic example, है ना? 1st April 2019. Okay, that is his date of birth. Now please pay attention. His first birthday, his parents are very happy. First year is completed. Okay, on 1/4/2019. The question is, he is 1 year old on 1 April as on 12 a.m. or 31st March 2019 as at, let us say, 12 a.m. or you can say entire 31st March. है कि नहीं बच्चों? Whether that 1 second will make a difference or not. Are you understanding my question? 11:59 p.m. This is a little bit tough to understand maybe for you. Okay. He is 1 year old as on 31st March 2020 na. We should go to next year na bachcho. Tell me. That is the question. Are you understand till here? Because this will decide बच्चों. He is 1 year old in this financial year or previous year. What is the previous year बच्चों in this case? Previous year 1920. Or he is 1 year old in as on this day. So this will be what previous year बच्चों? PY 2021. That is a case which was solved by giving a circular by the income tax department. Are you understand till here? What date to be considered as completion of a particular age? Understood or no? Tell me this. Are you understand till here, bachcho, my examples? Yes? Now check. This was just a very small example of a 1 year old child. But when are you actually completing 60 years or 80 years, it becomes very interesting because then you can start taking benefit of that beneficial tax slabs. है ना? Check करो. Please pay attention now. A person born on 1st April would be considered, please pay attention, to have attained a particular age on 31st March. Did you understand or no? On 31st March. That is the day preceding the anniversary of his birthday. Now tell me why this will be a very much, you can say, litigative area. Litigative, I'll tell you, okay? Just pay attention. This would be relevant attainment of age of eligibility for being considered as a senior or very senior citizen. Pay attention. I'll give you that example. I'll tell you. Pay attention. I'm just giving you an example. As on 1st April 2020, okay, in a family there is a lots of party happening because there is a 60th birthday. Okay, tell you. As on 1st April 20, please pay attention. Please pay attention. When you say 1/4/20, it becomes which PY or let us say FY? It becomes PY or FY, let us say 2021. Alright, tell you. Fine. Yes or no? Please tell me this. Please tell me this. Okay. So ideally speaking or normally speaking, bachcho, from which year he should be considered as senior citizen for income tax purpose? Are you understanding? Okay. He should be considered as senior citizen from 2021. But there was a dispute. There was a case. Somebody said that no. 1st April, I complete my 60th birthday, but it is 60th birthday and plus 1 day. That means I completed my 60 years of age as on the preceding day. Preceding day means what, bachcho? 31st March 2020. Now, bachcho, 31st March 2020 is which PY? Tell me this, bachcho. Which FY or PY? PY 2019-20. Are you understanding what is the case happening over here? So the assessee claimed, no. I completed 60 years of age, 60 years, as on 31st March 20. That means in PY 1920, that means I should be considered senior citizen for the entire year of 1920. Understood or no the question, the dispute over here? Obviously, assessing officer will get furious. He's saying you're getting born on 1st April, 60th age as such. 60th birthday is on 1st April 20. Okay, and you're trying to claim that is 20 means 2021 PY or FY, and you're trying to claim senior citizen in the earlier year itself. Hey, bachcho, this was a dispute. Are you understanding the dispute first of all? And this dispute was now solved by the circular. Now you tell me, bachcho. This is a very important case, huh? When with 60th birthday, or you can say completion of 60th age will be considered, bachcho, as on 31st March 20 or 1/4/20. Actual date of birth is 1/4, okay? 1st April. Tell me, bachcho, what is the date or year in which 60 years will be completed as per income tax circular? Tell me, bachcho, this is very important. This is very important, huh? Very important. Did you understand my example, case study, whatever I was telling you right now? Tell me this quickly. All of you understood or no? Somebody please quickly comment, yeah. I am waiting for your comments. Please write down this example if you want, if at all you want, okay? Date of birth, 60th birthday is on 1st April 20. But for income tax, bachcho, which will be your considered as senior citizen? From which year you will be considered a senior citizen? From 1920 as per this circular. Very important. Are you understanding, bachcho? Done till here? Okay, everyone got it? This was an interesting, you can say, example, you can say case study. Okay, I hope you understood. Based on this, questions are asked. Please keep that in mind. You have to be very careful. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, or a call, message, whatever. Yes, he'll be considered a senior citizen from PY 1920. Very good. So very good. There is a question over here, I think, in the case study. Which was the question? Yeah, 6th. Pay attention, everybody. Mr. X, born on, let us say, 15th August 1960, okay, will complete 60 years of age from the financial year 2021. Okay, I'm giving you an example. The date of birth over here is 15th August. Don't forget. His 60th birthday will come in the PY 2021. So he can avail all the tax benefits available to for senior citizen from which PY बच्चों? Which financial year or which PY? 1920, 2021 or 21-22? Tell me this. It is 15th August. The year in which he achieves or completes 60 years of age. From that, the year itself, he will get the benefit of senior citizens. Yes or no? That is what बच्चों? 2021. Understood लिया बच्चों? Done? Okay. Fine. Yes. Similarly, बच्चों, tell me for 7th. Mr. Y, born on 15th August 1940, will complete 80 years of age in the from the financial year or in the financial year 2021. So you can avail all tax benefits available for super senior citizens from the year what, bachcho? Same year, 2021. Again, his birthday is on 15th August. That is in the middle of the year, whatever it is. Okay. So the year in which you are achieving that particular age is the year in which you will get the benefits of senior citizen or super senior citizen. Obviously, it is only for resident. Okay, keep that in mind. है ना? Yes, done, बच्चों. MCQs will you try for homework? Some again MMR is remaining. Fine. MMR is remaining. Something else is remaining. Fine. All right. I hope that is done. This also we have covered. Now, I'll just introduce you to another point over here. Please pay attention. Okay. There is another section. Okay. 115 BAC. Thanks to Nirmala Madam ji. Okay. Already quite complicated things are happening. Okay. So new section 115 BAC provides. Okay. It gives an option for concessional slab rates. Concessional means discount. Okay. At times you are given discount here and there and all of that. Okay. In regular case, even in tax rates, some discounts may be given. Okay. Maybe it is an optional. It is not compulsory. It is optional. Okay. For concessional slab rates to individual as well as HUF. However, subject to certain conditions like foregoing. Foregoing means what, bachcho? To abstain or to give away or to sacrifice. Yes. Benefits of LTC, leave travel concession, standard deduction under salaries, interest on housing loan, BAPRE, on SOPs, self-occupied properties, deduction under chapter 6A, etc. And there are obviously others as well. That means you have to let go of or forego or sacrifice certain benefits. In that case only, you will get the concessional, you can exercise the, you can say concessional slab rates. Now, what is concessional slab rates? I mean, there is a separate slab rates. Given under section what, 115 BAC. 115 is obviously of the Income Tax Act itself. Now check. Up to 2.5 lakhs, bachcho, what? Nil. 2.5 to 5 lakhs, 5%. This still here it is, everything is same. No problem. But now check. 5.5 to 7.5, instead of 20%, 10%. 7.5 to 10, instead of 20%, 15%. 10 to just 12.5. Okay, now above 10 it was what originally 30%. Yes or no? So 10 to 12.5, 20%. 12.5 to 15, 25%. I literally think income tax officers or somebody over there was trying to use Excel sheet or some calculators and do this kind of time pass. Literally now from 0%, from 0 to 5, every multiple of 5 now we have tax rates. Every multiple of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Thanks to Nirmala Madam ji and their team. Okay. And now above 15 lakhs will be 30%. Understood, Leo? This is kind of optional. Now you can understand, yes, there is a little bit of benefit, because you will check your 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. It is 10% and 15% instead of 20%. Okay, Leo? Yes. And now 30% is coming after 15 lakhs. Okay, Leo? In earlier case, it is what above 10 lakhs was 30%. So basically, you'll have to always compare a normal tax slab and this concessional tax slab. Wow. Okay. Normal tax slabs and concessional tax slabs. Whichever is beneficial for the assessee or taxpayer, that we can choose. This is literally time pass happening. Who gives this kind of slabs at 10? Every 2.5 lakhs there is a slab. 2.5, 7, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15. Rubbish, utter rubbish. But this is given since last year. And very confidently, FMAT said almost 70 to 80% of salaried people are going to opt for this. This is really discouraging. This is really discouraging, but specifically over here. Let me show you. Interest on housing loan on SOP, very much discouraging. No, it is one of the biggest element of any normal person. Housing loan, the principal and the interest which he pays is one of the biggest component. So normal slabs you get the benefit, and this slabs you will not get benefit. If at all you want to choose for this option, no, this tax rates, you will not get a benefit of your interest deduction. As well as chapter 6A, it is again one of the most 80C, section 80C, one of the most important deduction. That benefit also you will not get. PPF, 5-year FD, your LIC, your housing loan principal amount, many things. You can say tuition fees, so many things, but you are covered in section 80C. That benefit you will not get if you opt for this kind of scheme. Understood, Leo? Again, it is now part of the act, and it is part unnecessary. Now it has become also part of a syllabus. We are obviously should be aware of it. All right. Hopefully, this scheme should be scrapped in a couple of years. Hopefully, otherwise the entire act, new act may come DTC, direct tax code. But again, we'll have to wait for that. Anyways. So what section is that, bacho? BAC, okay? Your optional concessional tax slabs. What did I say, bacho? It is optional concessional slab rates. Understood, bacho? Fine. Understood? Yeah, let's go ahead. Individuals and HUF exercising option under section 115 BAC, which we saw just now, BAC, okay, are not liable to AMT, alternate minimum tax, under section 115 JC. Again, that is part of last chapter, so don't worry right now, okay? So basically, if you're using BAC, you need not pay taxes under alternate minimum taxes. Don't worry right now. Again, directly not part of your syllabus, but check. Please pay attention. For domestic companies, new sections have come into picture. 115 BAA and 115 BAB. Okay, BAA and BAB. BAA will give the companies tax rate of 22% and BAB will give the tax rates of 15% to the companies. Okay, it gives benefit to lower tax rates if certain conditions are followed and deductions are also waived out. Again, lots and lots of things are happening over here. You will get a better tax rate or you will get a lower tax rate only if you forego something. Only if you let go of certain deductions or conditions you have to follow. That means new manufacturing companies starting getting incorporated under this particular year, starting production by 2023, whatever. Okay, they will be getting they will be getting lower tax benefits or lower tax rates. But for that, they'll have to forego certain deductions. Again, it is not part of our syllabus directly. That's why I'm not going into detail. Okay, Delia, got it? Fine, everybody. But you should be aware that for company there are many rates: 25%, 30%. 40% for foreign companies. Again, for domestic, it can be 22% as well as 15%. Understood, bachcho? Got it or no? Pakka? Yes? Okay? Let's go ahead. Where were we? This is done. This is done. Now, very important, bachcho. Special rates of tax. See, normal tax rates are given where, bacho? Normal tax rate which we saw till now. The tax slabs, then firm LLP 30%, you know, local authority how much 30%, and all of that. Company this, company that, and all of that, bacho. You know, bacho? That is given where? The society did not come into picture. Society was also done, no? Society. Yes, cooperative society also check, bacho. Yes, one is remaining over here. Cooperative society. Again, for cooperative society, bacho, the tax slabs are different. Up to 10,000, that means even there one single amount is not exempt. Huh? Up to rupees 10,000, tax rate is 10%. 10,000 to 20,000 is tax rate is 20%. And about 20,000 rupees, the tax rate is 30%. Okay, so that means they're getting very little benefit as such. Okay, fine. Okay, everybody. So check. Special rates of tax. So all these tax rates which we saw earlier, they are given where, bacho? Please pay attention. It is Annual Finance Act. So tax rates, please pay attention. Tax rates are given at two locations now. I'm now a little bit change in your concept. Tax rates are given at your two locations. One is your Annual Finance Act. That is your normal tax rate. We call it as normal tax rates. Which will change, but obviously annually. Which may change annually. The power is with the parliament, correct? And tax rates which are given in bacho Income Tax Act also. Okay, they are known as what? Special rates of tax. Okay, specialty, just like specialty. Okay, so special rates of tax. Hi, Anna. Clear, Delia? So anybody of you other than Pushkar is live, please comment over here. Okay, special rates of tax. All right, Elia? Yeah, let's go ahead, everybody. Special rates of tax. Fine, let's go ahead. Understood? So we till now we have seen bachcho the rates given in the Annual Finance Act, that is the normal tax rates, and now we will also see some tax. You can see rates given where bachcho in the Income Tax Act itself, and one of the examples which you've already seen right now is Section 115 BAC. है ना बच्चों? 115 BAC. Where is it? This one, because it is given where bachcho in the Income Tax Act itself. So that is a special rates of tax which we call. Apart from that, now check. Very important. Section 112 of what, bachcho? Income Tax Act has given, prescribed the rate of tax at the rate of 20% in respect of long-term capital gains. Okay? Long-term capital gains. Capital gains, you understand? Just now we have seen, you know, one of the incomes. By selling off, you can say capital assets or transfer of capital assets rather. Correct? Hai? Then 112A prescribes what rate of what 10% in respect of long-term certain other long-term capital gains. Okay, in respect of equity share or unit of equity-oriented fund or business trust, and where STT is paid, securities transaction tax is paid. Again, a separate. Again, we will see that in the chapter of capital gains later on. What is 112, 12A, etc. 111A again provides for concessional rates of tax at the rate of 15% on short-term capital gains. Right? Are you understanding or no? 150BB prescribe the rate of tax at the rate of 30% for winnings from any lottery, crossword puzzle, race, including horse races, card games, and any other game of any form, or gambling or betting of any form. Okay? Fine, Delia? Yes? 30%. That is under section 115 PB. Again, this is very important. BBE prescribes rate of tax at the rate of 60% for undisclosed income. What do you mean by undisclosed income? That income which you have not shown itself properly or accurately in your return. Are you understanding? Or in your books. Are you understanding, liya bachcho? Got it? The rate of tax is 60%. Normal rate you can see is 30% as such, on an average 25 to 30%. Correct? This will be tax at the rate of double 60%. Plus on that, surcharge will be at the rate of 25%. Plus bachcho on that, cess is of 4%. Can you give me effective rate of tax? On your calculator, come on, quickly take on calculator. 60 plus 25% plus 4%. Come on, tell me. 60 plus 25% plus 4%. %78. Did you understand, Delia bachcho? Yes or no? Got it? 60 plus 25% plus 4% comes to 78%. Yes or no? On which kind of income? Undisclosed income. Yes? Did you all understand how to calculate this? Apart from that, yes, very good. Apart from that, this is also very important. No deduction is allowed. No expenditure is allowed from this income. Entire gross is taxed at the rate of 78% now. Entire gross is now taxed at 78%. Okay. So no deduction is allowed of any expenditure, allowance, set off of loss, etc. relating to this undisclosed income. No deduction at all. Entirely gross amount is taxed at the rate of 78%. Yes or no? Clear? BBE. BBA. What does it say? Prescribed at the tax at the rate of 20% for income of a non-resident sportsman, including an athlete or an entertainer or a sports association who are earning income in India. All these are foreign players who come in India, athletes or entertainers, or you can say that what you competitor or anything who is conducting the shows, whatever it might be, or any kind of even sports association. They're earning income in India. Okay, they are non-resident. No, it will be taxed at the rate of flat 20% on taxable income. Right? And last but not the least, 115 goes to BBDA. You will say, are so many sections. Yes, sir, I know. But we will be doing it again and again and again on regular basis. Its reference will come. So at that time, all these sections will be by hearted, but you don't worry. 115 BBDA says what? Tax at the rate of 10% For dividend exceeding rupees, dividend income, okay? Rupees 10 lakhs in aggregate, okay? If your dividend income is more than rupees 10 lakhs, it will be taxed at the rate of 10%. Yes or no? Clear? Okay. Done till here? Now check. Average rate of income tax. As per section 210, average rate of income tax means the rate arrived by dividing the amount of income tax calculated on total income by such total income. That is what we have called it as what, bachcho? This is also we call it as effective tax rate, hai na, bachcho? This is again nothing to be done over here. Effective tax rate, hai na? Tax liability, amount of income tax, that means tax liability upon taxable income, that is your effective tax rate, or you can say average rate of income tax. That is simple. But again, this is important. MMR, maximum marginal rate. Pay attention. Maximum marginal rate. Okay. It says what? Defines MMR as to mean the rate of income tax, including surcharge on income tax, if any, applicable in relation to the highest slab of income in case of individual AOP or BOY, as the case may be, as specified in the Finance Act of the relevant year. Highest slab of income. So rate of tax including surcharge. It means what, bachcho? On your calculator again, you'll have to do this. Chalo, I'll show you how to calculate MMR. In normal case, what is the highest percentage for the sake of income, for the sake of individual, bachcho? It is 30. Hai na? If at all we add surcharge on it, hai na, including surcharge, what is the highest surcharge rate for individual, bachcho? 37%. Barabar hai? And on this, we charge cess, obviously the rate of what, bachcho? 4%. Which you have already calculated, bachcho. It comes to what, 42 point something? Check quickly. Wow. Wow. Where is my calculator? Correct. Done. On AC, chalo. 30 plus what, bachcho? 37% of surcharge. Correct hai? 41.1. And plus we are going to add, bachcho, 4% of cess, which comes to 42.74. बराबर है 42.744 I think. बराबर है. All right. Write down over there. Please write down over there. 42.74. Done, everybody? Okay. This is done. This is done. Rounding off is done. So quickly, let us go through now last part. Undisclosed incomes, undisclosed sources of income. What is the tax rates we have seen? We have just now seen na, for this undisclosed sources of income, your tax rate we have seen 115 what, bachcho? BBE. Yes, important. Yes or no? 115 BBE will be applicable on undisclosed income. And then what are your undisclosed income? That means you are not showing them. Okay, cash credit. Section 68, bachcho, cash credit. That means some amount is found credited in your books of account. And then you are not giving any explanation to the assessing officer. AO means what, bachcho? Assessing officer. Check. So any sum found credited in the books of the assessing for which no satisfactory explanation is given, AO may tax this amount as income. Undisclosed. Understood? So that is the reason at times you tell the clients also that please do not deposit any kind of cash amount, or please do not deposit any kind of amount which we cannot explain to the officer. Yes or no? Got it? Then unexplained investments. Check 69. Any investments made but which are not recorded in the book. Okay, again not shown as expenditure. Okay, and again no satisfactory explanation is given from where this money has come, what is this investment, whose investment is this. Again he may treat it as an income. Okay, that means there are certain investments, or you can say assets you have, but you have not recorded those assets, jewelry, shares, this and that. Okay, or motor vehicle, and it is not being shown in your books of account. In that case, such investments will be considered as income of the assessee. Understood? Unexplained money. Check. Here now we're talking money. Any actual cash lying down, or bullion, or jewelry, or other valuable articles, okay, you can say paintings, museum items, artifacts, whatever, are not recorded in the books. Okay, yes or no? Over here you can say investment means again properties, capital assets, and in here we are talking of money. That means something tangible over here. Okay, but it's not again recorded in the books. It is, you are not showing it as your, you can say, asset, and again you are not giving any explanation. In that case again the AO may treat such amount as income. Yes or no? Are you understanding why is this happening? See, if you found out this kind of investments, okay, the officer found out such kind of investments or assets. To get the asset, there has to be some income. To get the asset, there has to be some income. And then you have not shown the asset itself. That means the officer is going to say, "What? Yes, you earned the income, but you have not shown it. That's why we are now taxing it as undisclosed income." Understood, bachcho? Got it here, everybody? Yes? Alright, let's go ahead, everybody. 69B, investment not fully disclosed. Same thing, if you have, let us say, if at all you have invested in two residential flats, but you have shown only one of them, or something like that. If you have 10 cars, but you have shown only 8 of them, that is not fully disclosed, okay? So please pay attention, or not fully, you can say amount is not properly verified, or you can say you have car of BMW, but in your balance sheet you have shown it as Maruti 800, something like that. You have shown it, but not at full proper valuation. So where assessee makes any investment or is found to be owner of any again kind of money, है ना, tangible kind of, बराबर है, your bullion, jewelry, other valuable article, and such expenditure is underbooked. That means, that's what I'm saying. Now, if you buy a BMW, it is for 40 lakhs. चलो 30 lakhs में कुछ नहीं आएगा, 50 lakhs, but actual expenditure you have shown only of 10 lakhs. That means you have underbooked the expenditure, or you can say you have underbooked the investment. Understood or no? Underbooked, you understood? That means not fully disclosed. Yes or no? Clear till everybody? Yeah, you have taken BMW, but you have shown Nano. Okay? And such expenditure underbooked in the books, and again no satisfactory explanation is given to the AO. AO may treat such excess expenditure, है ना? The difference of 40 lakhs as income, as undisclosed. है कि नहीं बच्चों? Clear है? As income. Example, if the assessee is found to be owner of, let us say, 300 grams of gold, the market value of which is, let us say, 25,000, whatever, example, okay? During the financial year, the market value of 10,000 rupees, whatever, 25,000, whatever it is, okay, per gram, whatever it is. During the financial year ending 31st March 21, but he has recorded to have spent only 15,000 in acquiring it, the balance 10,000 will be his income for the year, okay? The assessing officer can add rupees 10,000, that is the difference between the market value and the actual expenditure, as income of the assessee, if the assessee again gives no proper explanation. Yes? Unexplained expenditure, Hawaii, है ना, Cayman Islands, Seychelles, lots of foreign travel, lots of, you can say, expenditure on lavish parties, है ना, एकदम rich lifestyle. Where was the source of income? That is, will be checked or not, बच्चों? Obviously, it will be checked, isn't it, guys? Yeah, understood? So check unexplained expenditure. Any expenditure incurred and offers no explanation by the assessee about the source of such income. Who is sponsoring you? You are going by private jet, huh? And you have Maruti 800 Nano in your home, okay? Or no satisfactory explanation is given. Daily you eat in 5-star hotel, big parties, big clubs you go to. You may treat such unexplained expenditures as income. Same thing happens with wedding, bachcho. Lavish weddings. Obviously, the officers or the department keeps an eye on them. That means the assessee, you can say assessee is spending so much of money. What was the source of his income? It should be, you can say, commensurate. Now, it should be, obviously, there should be a, you can say, balance between the income and the expenditure. So if there is an unreasonable expenditure, looking at his already declared income, he's a normal government employee, let us say, but he's spending crores of rupees, he's traveling by business class as such. This is obviously unexplained expenditure. That will be taxed as income. Alright, till here? Yes? And last but not that important, but actually, honestly, amount borrowed or repaid on a hundi. Hundi is again a negotiable instrument used again only in, you can say, very rural areas as such. So if you're using hundi, okay, it is considered as income. Check. Where any amount is borrowed on a hundi, okay, from, or any amount due thereon is repaid to any person, basically what they have to say, otherwise through an account pay check. So all these amounts of borrowing and repayment of interest or whatever it is, it has to be done through account pay check. If you're not doing it, okay, the amount so borrowed or repaid shall be deemed to be income of the person borrowing or repaying such amount. Okay, whoever has got this amount, no, don't mix it with dowry. No, it is not dowry, please. It is not hunda and hundi. No, it is not dowry. It is just a negotiable instrument. That's it. Okay, it is as good as your bill of exchange or promissory note. it will be treated as income for the year in which it was borrowed or repaid, as the case may be. Basically, the intention is any money borrowed or repaid other than the account payee check. Okay, that is the, again, importance of Negotiable Instruments Act. The amount should be by account payee check only. It should be shown in the banking channels, because of hundi or negotiable instruments now, it doesn't directly reflect in the banking channels. There is no record as such proper. That is the reason they are saying it will be considered as then undisclosed income. It will be taxed at what rate, bacho? 60 plus 25 plus 4%, that is 78%. Yes or no? Everybody got it till here? Yes? Done? Everybody okay till here? Done? Fine. Let's go ahead, everybody. Question number 9, bacho. Question number 9. What is the status of the following persons? Please write down quickly. Mr. A or Mrs. A. Status means I'm talking of which type of person is it for sake of assessee. Chalo. Write down in the notebook quickly. Mr. or Mrs. A will be what, bacho? Which kind of assessee? Quickly tell me, bacho. Please write down. Please, come on. Mr. or Mrs. A, bacho. What will happen over there? Which kind of assessee? Assessee is what, bacho? Which level or which category? Individual, है ना? Individual. Okay till here? Fine or not? Fine, everybody? Yes. Then Master B, minor child, okay? Master B. And just write on the bracket minor. Which kind of assessee is, bacho? Assessee is what? Which type of assessee now? Tell me. He is still individual. He is still what, bacho? Individual. Okay, write down that. He is still individual. Okay, till here? However, I'll just take it from my other notes, earlier notes. He's also what? Individuals. Very good. Yes. Master B is an individual. Write down. His income shall be assessed in the hands of either of his parents. Okay, write down. His income shall be assessed in the hands of parents. Okay, his income shall be assessed in the hands of parents. That we will see later on. We have a chapter of clubbing of income. Okay, in that case we will see. See, partner of a firm, bacho. Partner of a firm is what? Is an individual. Okay, is an individual. Correct, everybody? Right? Then what do you have? D. Joint family of Mr. C, Mrs. C and their children. Okay, write down. Joint family of Mr. C, Mrs. C and children can be considered as HUF only if they are what, bacho? Hindu or Sikh or Jain. Okay, write down. Joint family of Mr. and Mrs. and their children. Mr. and Mrs. C and their children बच्चों will be considered as HUF if what they are what Hindu or Jain or Sikh. Okay, yes everybody, understood or no? Fine, done everybody. So joint family of that case will be considered HUF only if the family is what? Hindu or Jain or Sikh. Okay, then what do we have? E. Delimited. Okay, we have is obviously is a company. बराबर है? Simple. We have not here given, okay, domestic or foreign or what, that depends later on. Is a what बच्चों? Company. F. LLP is what बच्चों? Is a firm. हाँ या ना? Is a firm for the sake of what? Income tax. बराबर है? ये G. G Bank Limited. It is limited. Okay, don't forget now. G Bank Limited. हाँ, yes, पुष्कर, correct. Or AOP also, na Pushkar? AOP also, if they are not HUF. They have come together for a particular business. But it's beneficial for them to get separate assessed, because then again all of them will get at least 2.5 lakhs benefit together, no? G Bank Limited, under the word limited is a company again, okay, is a company. H, Pune University बच्चों. Tell me बच्चों, what is Pune University? Or let us say university will be what? Is what kind of assessee बच्चों person? Tell me. It is artificial juridical person, okay? Artificial juridical person. Yes, AJP. Artificial juridical person. Yes, everybody? Done? Very good, yeah. I, Guru Granth Sahib. है ना? Again, it will be AJP because Lord or DT, God, I have already told you. AJP. Alright, everybody. J is what? Pune Municipal Corporation. Okay. Pune Municipal Corporation. Will be what, bachcho? Tell me quickly. Corporation is a what? Local authority. Is a local authority, right? JKL. अच्छा. K will be what, बच्चों? Government of Maharashtra or India. Government, let us say Maharashtra or Government of India is not an assessee. Keep that in mind. The state is not an assessee. The local authority are different. State are different. Okay. Yes. Got it here, everybody? Got it? And what do we have last? L. It's a JK. JK Private Limited is just a company. What? That is just kidding. You know. JK Private Limited obviously is also a company. Yes. Is a company. Fine, tell you, बच्चों. Done, everybody? All right. Can you give me answer for 14th one? Can you give me answer for 14th one, बच्चों? Then we'll wind up the lecture na, for today. A domestic company means only an Indian company, both Indian and foreign company having a branch in India. We want domestic company, बच्चों. Both Indian company and foreign company having business connection in India, and both Indian company and foreign company which has made prescribed arrangement for declaration and payment of dividend in India or an income chargeable to tax in India. Option D is correct, बच्चों. Yes. All right. 15th. The rates of income tax are given where? Income Tax Act only, Income Tax Act and rules, the first schedule of Annual Finance Act, both Income Tax Act and first schedule of Annual Finance Act. Bachcho, option D is correct. Rates are given both, okay, at both the places. One is a normal tax rate given in Annual Finance Act, and another is your special tax rate given in Income Tax Act, right? In respect of a non-resident assessee who is 60 years of age or more but less than 80 years of age during the previous year, okay, what is this basic taxation limit? Bachcho, tell me quickly. What is this basic taxation limit? Bachcho, tell me. Sixteen answer. Come on, come on, come on. Give me your answers quickly, bachcho. Yes, it is 2.5 lakhs. Very good. It is 2.5 lakhs. All right. In case of domestic company whose gross receipts for the year 18-19 is 251 crores. Okay, limit is 400 crores, but no, okay. Let us quickly check domestic company, bachcho. For which year it was? 18-19 only, no? So in 18-19, if the domestic company's turnover is 251 crores, okay, 251, what will happen? What tax rate will you give them? Tell me. 29 or 25 or 30 or none of these? We'll give it as bachcho 25%. Okay. If I change the question, please be very careful. In case of a foreign company, okay, whose gross receipts for the year 18-19 is 251 crores. In that case, if at all I change the question, what will be your answer? None of the above, 40%. Correct? Eh? This will be kind of a very, very simple and basic questions, bachcho, at least in the first chapter over here. Hai na? Done till here? 18th. The surcharge applicable for the domestic to a domestic company for AY 21-22 is 5%, 10%, 12, 7%, 7%. We notice 7% and 12%. So our answer has to be between C and D only. Hai na? Total income exceeds 1 crore but does not exceed 10 crores. And 15% if the total income exceeds 10 crore. No. It is 7 and 12, so option D is correct. 7% if the income is above 1 crore, Okay, but not more than 10 crores, and 12% if it exceeds 10 crores. That option D is correct, बच्चों. Done till here? Yes, done everybody. Twenty is repeated, so it is both A and B. Give me in that case answer for 19th. Well, the total income of AJP is 4,10,000. The income tax payable is how much? And surcharge. Surcharge will not even come into picture. AJP, बच्चों. How much for 4,10,000? Tell me. Will you give them rebate? No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Yes or no, बच्चों? Got it? Check. AJP. Where are you? Normal tax slabs. So 4,10,000 minus 2,50,000 into what? 5%. That's it. Hi, na? Everybody? $8,000. Is it correct? Let me check what option they have given us. Surcharge, there will be no question. Concept of surcharge over here. 3,000. How much? What did I do? 5%, no? I did something wrong. 2.5, 3.5, 1.5 lakhs, no? 1.5 lakhs into 5%. What happened? 1.6 lakhs, sorry. What mistake I did? There has to be some error, no, bachcho? There will be some error. Acha, if it is 3,10,000, then answer is A. Acha. For 4,10,000, write down bachcho 8,000, okay? I'm not talking of basic. Okay, let us say, okay, we will rectify that, don't worry. For 4,10,000, it is what? 8,000. Okay, and if you say 3,10,000, then on 60,000, about 2.5 lakhs. So 60,000 into 5% is 3,000. In that case, it will be A. Okay, that is fine. Alright, Ilya. Okay, everybody. For 4,10,000, it is 8,000, and 3,10,000, it is A. No problem. That's fine. That's fine. 20th is done. 21. The basic source of income tax law is Act, rules, circular notification, judgment of courts. Which one is correct, bachcho? 21. Obviously, A is the most correct. Income Tax Act 1961. That is the base source of income tax law. Right? Everyone done till here? I want you to write in the notebook, bachcho. Very important thing. Very important thing now. Okay. We will do Zoom only, not Zoom. Yeah, we will do meet on Zoom, or you can say do Google Meet only. That is much better, no? Than this only one way or discussion. You know? I want in a notebook to write. I want you to write, bachcho. The most important thing of your income tax, the most important, which is also at times asked as interview questions. Okay. Income definition we have seen. Okay, I'll wind up the lecture in 5-10 minutes. Okay. Income definition we have seen. It is a very big definition, है ना? It is a very long list of definition of income tax. Barabar till here? Done till here? Yeah. Okay. So please on your notebook, you can say something very much bold, or you can say big. At least I require half page, but this is the most things. Okay. We call it as bachos heads of income, that is categories of income. Okay, heads of income. And in income tax act or income tax law, for us we have 5 heads of income. Okay, so any income you can think of for income tax purposes, they are divided into what, bacho? 5 categories. Okay, this is the first and foremost, you can say the basic, you can say the basic of income tax law. How many types of income you have? 5 heads of income. So it is, you should always know that there are 5 heads of income. That is the question number 1, and obviously you should know all the heads of income. Okay, right, Ilya? योर फर्स्ट बच्चों इनकम फ्रॉम सैलरीज, है ना, इनकम फ्रॉम बच्चों व्हाट, सैलरीज. ओके, not tell you. That means a person who is in employment, he is getting salary. That is the one category. Then income from house property. Okay, any asset you have, house property you have, from that you may earn kind of any rental income mainly. Okay, that is your income from house property. Done. Then income from profits or gains from business and profession. Okay, again we are writing in a particular sequence only. Okay, everyone got to tell you. And fourth one, income from capital gains. Are you all writing or no? And last but not the least, always a residuary head of income. Okay, residuary is income from other sources. Okay, income from what bachcho? Other sources. Income from other sources. Okay, over there please write down residuary head of income. That means any kind of income you can think of. Okay, which does not fall into the first four categories, it will then by default fall under the last category. Yes, tell you everybody. Yes, understood, tell you. These are your heads of income. The most basic thing that can be asked for any income tax student is how many heads of income are there and which one it is, and also in a particular sequence. Particular sequence means in the act which we are going to see. As per the act, the first one comes salary, then HP. We call it in short HP, house property. Then we call PGBP in short for profits gains from business and profession, PGBP. Then we say CG for capital gains, and we say IOS, income from, or IFOS. Some of them say that. That is income from other sources. Right, everybody? Done till here? Yeah. So let us wind up for today, Asad Bacho. Because as it is, your chapter number 1, everything is almost over now from this chapter. Basics are also covered. And now we will obviously do the next chapter. So I wanted to start on next lecture itself. Alright. So I think that is it for today. If at all you have any doubts, please get in touch with me. Whatever you want, pen drive, video lectures, whatever it is, let me know. Okay, how you want to continue the lectures. Hai na? Any other feedback you have, obviously let me know. You want to continue only in English, Hindi, English mix, whatever it is, let me know. Okay, please study and try more questions also from this. Please read your ICS study material always by default. Let it be for law or income tax or GST. Please read your ICS study material. This is by default. Okay, I'm hoping chapter number 1 is over. And please read word on word from everything from the material now whenever you get time until we see ourselves in our next lecture. Done? Alright? So then I hope you already liked the video. Share the video with all of your friends. Hai na? So then take care guys. Have a great day ahead. Tata. Bye. Okay? Have a great day ahead, bachcho. Bye. हाँ पुष्कर.